Well, joining us now is Jeff Foust. He's a senior writer at SpaceNews. Jeff, thanks so much for being with us. NASA only returned recently to splashdowns, to water landings after decades. Why?
Well, it was a switch from the shuttle era, when the shuttle returned and glided back to a runway landing like an airplane, back to the old days of capsules and splashing down in the ocean. That was a simpler and really more effective means for just getting astronauts to and from low Earth orbit.
And why the nighttime splashdown? What are some of the pros, cons, and challenges and advantages in that sort of decision?
Yeah, they originally planned to do a daytime landing, but the weather wasn't cooperating earlier in the week. So the best weather opportunity they had for a landing was at night on Sunday. The winds were very light, the seas were very calm, and so they went ahead and with that landing. As you imagine, it's dark, it's hard to see. You don't have anything more than just some moonlight to see the capsule. But in this era of automation and computers and all sorts of sensors, the capsule can get back down to the target pretty much any time of day or night. In fact, it splashed down right on target. The boats were able to get to the capsule within minutes, and the astronauts were out of the capsule within an hour.
As somebody who follows space and space exploration, what was your reaction to this landing?
Well, it's a sign that this commercial crew program, which started a decade ago, has really hit its stride. It's now almost as routine as human spaceflight comes. And human spaceflight isn't as routine as flying on an airplane, of course. But now you have astronauts going up and coming down on a regular basis on vehicles that are built and operated by companies rather than by NASA. And that's a sign of a changing era in spaceflight.
Yeah, the astronauts even themselves said that SpaceX is changing the world. Are they?
Well, they certainly are. They really radically changed the launch market. They've made rockets reusable and less expensive, and they captured a large share of the global launch market with those vehicles. And now with Crew-Dragon, they're able to send astronauts, both from NASA and from other space agencies, as well as private astronauts to low Earth orbit.
I love this line here. Thank you for flying SpaceX. If you're part of our mileage program, that's 68 million miles you've earned. It does show some of the lighthearted nature of all of this. Is that important given the fact that there is such an audience watching to be inspired by this?
Yeah, it's not the old NASA of the men in the white shirts and black ties sitting at consoles anymore. It's a much different era right now, and you see that with the approach, the lightheartedness that you mentioned that SpaceX takes, but still. In the end, it's still very rigorous engineering that's required to safely launch and land astronauts, and that hasn't changed.
What does this mean to the average person? Should they start saving their coins for a trip to space?
Well, a trip to space is probably out of reach for the average consumer for many, many years to come. But we're seeing new opportunities for private space flight by wealthy people. There's a mission coming up in September called Inspiration 4 that will launch on a Crew-Dragon spacecraft, and a company called Axiom Space will be launching its own private mission on a Crew-Dragon early next year, and Axiom has plans to eventually build its own private space station in low Earth orbit that might succeed the International Space Station to be used for tourism or for research or for any other sort of commercial applications.
Jeff Foust from SpaceNews, thank you for your insight.
Thank you.